Today, we are going to present to you our case study titled The Effects of Laissez-Faire Teaching Approach to the First-Year Students of USTP Villanueva. Well, education has transformed significantly over the years, shifting from traditional, authority-based teaching methods to modern, student-centered approaches. Among these is the laissez-faire teaching style, which grants students the freedom and responsibility to manage their own learning. While this approach fosters creativity and independence, it also possesses challenges due to its lack of structure and guidance. For first-year university students like USTP Villanueva, who are transitioning from the more structured environment of high school, this teaching style may have profound effects on their academic journey. Now let's dive into the background of the study. The laissez-faire teaching style emphasizes minimal teacher intervention, allowing students to explore and learn independently. This approach encourages students to take responsibility for their education, promoting independence and creativity. However, it often lacks the guidance that many first-year students require to adapt successfully to their new learning environment. Research shows that transitioning students often need additional support to adjust to the academic and personal freedom of university life. Studies such as those by Wright in 2011 and Zhang in 2023 highlight that while laissez-faire teaching can encourage independence, its lack of structure may hinder student engagement, motivation, and the development of critical thinking skills.
And now, the problem of the study. First-year students in the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, Villanueva, may face difficulties adapting to the laissez-faire teaching style. The absence of sufficient guidance during the critical transition period could lead to poor academic performance, disappointments in class, and underdeveloped critical thinking skills. This study aims to explore how the laissez-faire teaching style impacts these outcomes, the success of the first-year students.
And now, here is our significance of the study. This study is crucial in understanding the effects of the laissez-faire teaching style on the first-year students of USTP Villanueva. It will investigate its impact on academic performance, class engagement, and the development of critical thinking and problem-solving skills. These findings will provide valuable insight for educators, enabling them to refine teaching strategies to better accommodate the needs of the first-year students. By creating a more supportive and effective learning development environment, this research seeks to enhance the student success and contribute to the continuous improvement of educational practices.
Now let's dive to the theories of our study. Constructivist theory. According to Jean Piaget in 1973, constructivist theory posits that students learn best when they are actively engaged in the learning process. This theory emphasizes that knowledge is not simply transmitted from teacher to student. Rather, learners construct their own understanding through experiences and interactions with their environment. In a laissez-faire classroom, where teachers adopt a more passive role, students have the opportunity to explore topics of interest independently. This strategy supports Piaget's belief that active involvement enhances the process of learning more significantly. In a laissez-faire classroom, students actively learn through experiences and self-directed activities, integrating new information into their existing knowledge frameworks. This process fosters personal understanding, responsibility, and autonomy as the students take charge of their own learning journey. Next is self-determination theory. Self-determination theory, postulated by Edward Deci and Richard Ryan in 1985, emphasizes the role of autonomy in learning. Based on SDT, students' autonomy is likely to be experienced by the students who have freedom to make choices regarding what they will learn and how they will learn. Eliza's fair environment in the classroom is strongly pertinent for first-year students at USTP Villanueva who are adjusting to college life. Lastly, behaviorism. Behaviorism, as postulated by B.F. Skinner, 1953, focuses on a reinforcement and more ordered circumstances in influencing behavior and learning results. Although behaviorism in itself has always advocated for controlled environments characterized by many more rules and boundaries, it also offers insight into problems with the lack of structured teaching methods and Eliza's fair approach.
Next is our chapter 3 in our study, which is the review of related literature. First up is increased student independence. The laissez-faire teaching methods promote students' autonomy by allowing them to choose what they learn, which makes them feel more in control of their education. According to Korea in 2023, this independence enhances students' interest, responsibility, and motivation, leading them to improve academic performance as students dedicated more time and energy to their studies. Next is the higher motivation. Studies have shown that the laissez-faire teaching method can increase student motivation. According to Chimat and Hamaluddin in 2024, allowing students to choose their topics foster a positive attitude and intrinsic motivation, which is essential for academic success. This sense of ownership in the learning process also promotes long-term involvement. Next is the skill development. The laissez-faire teaching methods strategies foster important skills like problem solving and critical thinking. According to Guiz et al. In 2023, methods such as case-based learning promotes active engagement and collaboration, enhancing teamwork and critical thinking. This approach helps prepare students with skills highly valued in both academic and professional settings.
So the fourth part is discipline issues. While the laissez-faire teaching method has strengths, it can lead to discipline issues in the classroom. According to Nuke, 2014, relaxed environments may cause distractions and disruptions. As students may take advantage of the lack of structure, teachers need to balance freedom with maintaining appropriate behavioral expectations.
So the last part is reduced student engagement. Studies show that minimal teacher presence in the laissez-faire classroom can lead to lower student engagement. According to Lopez and Oliveira 2017, lack of supervision makes students less accountable, which can cause disengagement and hinder participation in class discussions.
Data gathering. This study is a quantitative study that aims to determine on the effects of laissez-faire teaching approach to the first-year student of USTP Villanueva on the selected 90 students of University of Science and Technology of Villanueva campus. The study uses a quantitative approach using open-ended questions through the paper surveys. Stratified random sampling will be used to ensure a representative sample of first-year students of USTP Villanueva. The student population will be divided into strata based on characteristic gender, academic program, and performance level. Random sampling from each stratum will provide diverse perspective on the laissez-faire teaching approach. The target sample size is 90 students, which is expected to be sufficient for statistical significance.
Research Local. The study will be conducted in the USTP Villanueva campus, located 20 kilometers from Cagayan de Oro City in Misamis Oriental. USTP offers various programs including Bachelor of Science in Technology Communication Management, Bachelor of Science in Electromechanical Technology, and Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. This setting is ideal for examining how the laissez-faire teaching approach impacts first-year students as they transition from high school to university. Respondents. The respondents will be 90 first-year students enrolled in BSTCM, BSEMT, and BSIT programs at USTP Villanueva. These students are chosen because they are starting their university journey and adjusting to a more independent learning environment. The sample will include students from each program to ensure a well-rounded view of how these teaching styles impacts different fields of study.
And lastly, the instrument. The researcher will use a questionnaire to collect data from students, as it an efficient tool for gathering qualitative information that can later be converted into quantitative data for analysis. In 2005. The questionnaire is designed to address the study's objectives, focusing on academic performance and engagement. It will feature a 4-point Likert scale, strongly agree, disagree, and strongly disagree, to capture student views on the laissez-faire teaching method. This approach allows for clear expression of opinions and helps quantify perceptions of the teaching style.
Now, let's move on to analysis of this study. Table 1. For Table 1, represents respondents' frequency and percentage distribution in terms of age 18 to 20 years old. Frequency is 90 and a total of 90. Percentage is 100 and a total of 100%.
Table 2 presents respondents' frequency and percentage distribution in terms of program, EMT, IT, and TCM. For the both EMT and IT, they have 27 frequency and 30 percentage. And for the TCM, 36 frequency and 40 percentage, with a total of 100 percentage. Table 3 presents respondents' frequency and percentage distribution in terms of gender, male and female. For both male and female, we have frequency 45 with a percentage of 50, a total of 100%.
Table 4 presents the mean distribution of the respondents' laissez-faire teaching approach in terms of increased independence. The first statement, I feel more in control of my learning when teacher let us choose what to study, had a mean 2.87 with a standard deviation of 0.81, indicating a high level of agreement. Second statement, choosing my own topics makes me more interested in my classes, had a mean 2.93 with a standard deviation of 0.76, indicating a high level of agreement. Third statement, I like having the freedom to decide how I learn instead of following strict rules, had a mean 2.99 with a standard deviation of 0.90, indicating also a high level of agreement. Fourth statement, I do better in my studies when I can explore on my own, had a mean 3.09 with a standard deviation of 0.84, indicating a high level of agreement. And the fifth statement, having control over my learning helps me get better grades, had a mean 3.26 with a standard deviation of 0.80, indicating with a high level of agreement, with an average score of mean 3.03, with an average standard deviation of 0.05, indicating a high level of agreement.
Table 4 highlights students' perceptions of increased independence under the laissez-faire teaching approach. The results show a general agreement among respondents that this approach enhances autonomy in learning, with an overall mean score of 3.03 and a standard deviation of 0.05, reflecting a consistently positive impact on their educational experience. Third statement, it is easier to say motivated when I have choices in my studies, had a mean 3.05 with a standard deviation of 0.81, indicating a high level of agreement. Fourth statement, I feel less motivated when there are too many rules about how to study, had a mean 3.03 with a standard deviation of 0.75, indicating a high level of agreement. Fifth statement, Being able to choose how I learn makes me care more about my education had a mean 3.15 with a standard deviation of 0.61 with a high level of agreement. The overall average score of 3.05 with a standard deviation of 0.09 indicates a strong consensus among respondents that the laissez-faire teaching approach, emphasizing autonomy and freedom in learning, fosters high motivation. These findings align with previous research by Desi and Ryan in year 2008 and Reeve in year 2009, which highlights the positive impact of student-centered, flexible learning environments on motivation and engagement.
Table number 6. Mean distribution of the respondents' laissez-faire teaching approach in terms of skill development. First statement. The laissez-faire teaching approach helps me learn important skills like problem solving. Had a mean of 2.98 with a standard deviation of 0.84, indicating with a high level of agreement. Second statement. I improve my teamwork skills when I work with classmates. Had a mean of 3.03 with a standard deviation of 0.77, indicating with high level of agreement. Third statement. Setting my own learning goals helped me become a better student. Had a mean of 3.11 with a standard deviation of 0.69, indicating with high level of agreement. Fourth statement. Taking charge of my education teaches me valuable skills. Had a mean of 3.08 with a standard deviation of 0.81, indicating with high level of agreement. Last statement. Exploring topics on my own helps me think critically. Had a mean of 3.13 with a standard deviation of 0.75, indicating with high level of agreement. With the overall average score of 3.07 with a standard deviation of 0.06, indicates that the high level of agreement. These findings that students believe that they are acquiring critical academic and personal skills, such as problem solving, teamwork, goal setting, and critical thinking through this approach.
Table 7. Mean distributions of respondents' laissez-faire teaching approach in terms of discipline issues. First statement is a relaxed classroom leads to more distraction during lessons, with a mean of 2.90 and a standard deviation of 0.90, indicating a high level of agreement. Second statement. There are more discipline problems in classrooms that let students choose everything. Had a mean with 3.19 with a standard deviation of 0.70, indicating a high level of agreement. Third statement. Some students take advantage of the freedom and disrupt class. Had a mean with 3.18 with a standard. Third statement. Some students take advantage of the freedom and disrupt class. Had a mean with 3.18 with standard deviation of 0.77, indicating a high level of agreement. Last statement. A less organized environment makes it difficult for everyone to stay focused. Had a mean with 3.22 with a standard deviation of 0.79, indicating a high level of agreement.
The first statement is I sometimes lose interest in class when the teacher is not involved enough. Had a mean with 3.09 with a standard deviation of 0.80, indicating high level of agreement.
The second statement is without enough direction from teachers, it's easy for me to become disengaged. Had a mean of 3.12 with a standard deviation of 0.83, indicating high level of agreement. Third statement is lack of oversight can make students less responsible of their work. Had a mean of 3.12 with a standard deviation of 0.77, indicating high level of agreement. The fourth statement is some students may not take their studies enough in a related classroom setting. Had a mean of 3.12 with a standard deviation of 0.74, indicating a high level of agreement. The last statement is with the teacher are less involved, it can lead to less interest in class overall. Had a mean of 3.32 with a standard deviation of 0.74, indicating a high level of agreement.
Table 8 reports an overall mean score of 3.50 with a standard deviation of 0.04, indicating a high level of perceived disengagement in the laissez-faire teaching approach.
To conclusion. This study analyzes first-year students' perceptions of the laissez-faire teaching approach in USTP Villanueva, focusing on EMT, IT, and TCM programs. Results highlight that EMT students benefit from the approach's alignment with practical skill development, while IT and TCM students value the autonomy to enhance teamwork, goal setting, and critical thinking. However, all programs raise concerns about reduced discipline and focus due to minimal teacher guidance. The findings suggest that while this method fosters independence, a hybrid approach combining autonomy with structure could better address challenges and support effective learning across these programs.
Now let's move on to the recommendation of this study. So our first recommendation is increased teacher involvement. To balance reduced engagement, teachers should adopt a mentoring rule, offering timely feedback and support to keep students motivated and interested in learning. Our second recommendation, implement classroom management strategies. Teachers can reduce discipline issues by introducing structured activities and regular check-ins to keep students on track and focused. Our third recommendation is assess readiness for self-directed learning. Before adopting the laissez-faire approach, educators should assess the readiness of students for independent learning and provide training in skills such as time management and self-regulation. Our fourth recommendation is combine laissez-faire with other approaches. Incorporation of traditional teaching elements will address diverse learning styles and allow for structures for students needing more guidance with a laissez-faire approach.
Recommendation, connection, continuous feedback, constant feedback from students can make it possible for teachers to refine their methods, develop areas of improvement, and provide evidence that approach adopted is effective for the student, provide structure autonomy. Teachers shall clearly set learning objectives and guidelines, yet give students the autonomy to explore the topics of interest. This balance ensures engagement without sacrificing classroom discipline.